What's going on YouTube? I got another fun one for you today. I am giving the people what they want, and what the people want are tier lists, so I've got the official Season 10 weapon tier list for Apex Legends Emergence. I guarantee I'm bringing you all the details so you know what to pick up and leave behind when you drop on World's Edge. As always, if you like this content or you think I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments. Like this video, share it with a friend, and subscribe to the channel. We've been growing at a pretty steady rate, and I have no intention of stopping anytime soon. But without further ado, I'm Brad from Last Call Gaming. Let's tap into it. All right, first and foremost, a little disclaimer. These are my opinion based on my experience playing the game so far. Feel free to disagree. Feel free to let me know about your disagreements. Keep it classy in the comments. And at the end of the day, play what you like. Play what you want to play what you feel most comfortable with. Now let's get started. I guess we're going in alphabetical order here. Alternator, care package alternator, S tier. Thing is freaking insane. The disruptor rounds are ridiculous, and there's virtually no recoil on the gun. It is an absolute laser. Enough said about it. Beaucheck Bow, A tier. Those of you that know me will probably find this one a little bit surprising because I use this a lot. I love the Beaucheck Bow. I think it's phenomenal, but it takes a certain play style, and it's not always the most reliable. When it hits, it absolutely hits. It's kind of borderline S tier, but at the same time, I can't, like, in good conscience put it up in S tier because it's not for everyone. It's definitely not for everyone. Charge rifle, B tier. This thing is kind of a weird, this one's weird. I very rarely pick it up. When I do pick it up, it works, but I am not the biggest fan of the charge rifle. I think there are better options out there, especially in the sniper rifle department. At the beginning of the match, if you land on this is all you get, and you have to fight off a handful of enemies, you can do it, but there are better options, and you know, it's not my favorite. Devotion, A tier. If you find it with a turbocharger, S tier, keep it for the rest of the game. Eva 8, despite the nerfs, S tier. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's still very solid, still very reliable. Even with the nerfs, the shotgun bolts still make it fast. It will win out most close range engagements. Flatline, S tier. Second best gun in the game. Underrated, very underrated. Second best gun in the game, easily. It's great early game, has insane hip fire, great at mid range, decent at long range, great end game weapon, S tier. G7 Scout, B tier. Worst iron sights in the game. When you find this, you are almost guaranteed to never find optics ever again. It's like a curse, at least with me. In a pinch, it will get you there. It's better than having nothing. C tier though. Havoc, A tier. The Havoc gets a lot of flack because of its recoil, but the only real recoil issue is the initial kick. After that, it has virtually no recoil. Aim to the lower left of your target, you're gonna hit almost every shot. You will melt people with the Havoc. Turbocharger, forget about it. Even better, A tier. Hemlock, A tier. I like the Hemlock a lot, but there are other guns I would choose above it. Its hip fire since the nerf has been average. There are things I would rather have in an early game fight. As far as its longer range capabilities, its mid to long range capabilities, it's still very, very viable. It's a great secondary weapon. It's a great primary weapon if you have a strong close range secondary. Depending on your play style, if you like those mid-range engagements, this is still for you. Still very solid weapon. Kraber. You know what? We're gonna do this. The Kraber gets its own tier above everything. If you know, you know. Kraber is love. Kraber is life. If you find a Kraber, your IQ automatically goes up by 100. Your RP automatically goes up by at least 200. If you find a Kraber, the gods have smiled upon you. You should win the game. Even if you don't win the game, you have somehow won the game. Kraber is a lifestyle. I will not be taking questions at this time. Longbow Dmr. Since the recent buff, A tier. I personally have a hard time using this weapon. I do. I personally have a hard time using this weapon, but when it hits, it hits. And in a pinch, if you can really land this thing, it smacks. There are better options, but it's still very good. L-Star, since the buff, S tier. The L-Star is so good right now. Fixing the VFX on this gun was a buff enough, and now that it has attachments, it's just insanely good. It is a solid, viable replacement for the R99, for the Volt in some instances. I will take this over a shotgun. As a secondary, I will take this any day. I am no longer upset when I land on an L-Star. It feels confident, it feels smooth, great weapon. Mastiff, D tier. Don't ever pick this up. If you have the choice between this and your hands, throw hands. Your punches do 30 damage per hit. They lock on and yeet you into enemies. Mastiff shots, most likely you'll hit 9 to the head from a foot away, if you're lucky. Maddeningly inconsistent. I will take literally anything except the Mastiff. Respawn, please fix this gun. It used to be so nice. It's trash now. D tier. Mozambique. Oop. A tier. Very solid since the buff. It used to be a dirt tier gun, and now it feels great. It's super consistent. It hits like a train. Not a whole lot to be said about it. If the early game, I'm super happy to land on this because it means I have a chance now. P2020, C tier. It's average at best. This is better than, I would rather have this than a Mastiff, but I would rather have pretty much anything else but this. It's vanilla. It's not great. It's not good. It's just meh. C tier. Peacekeeper. I have a lot of problems with the Peacekeeper right now because I really enjoy the Peacekeeper. But it's very inconsistent for me. It's strong. When it hits like a train. But honestly, I think B tier. I enjoy the gun. I have fun with it. It's just too inconsistent for me. One shot, you're gonna hit 100. The next shot, you're gonna hit 12. Does RNGesus love you? Who knows? B tier. Prowler. S tier. Best gun in the game. It's a laser beam right now.
Frickin' laser beam.
Probably needs a nerf, honestly. As ground loot, it probably needs a nerf. Basically no recoil and hip fire, basically no recoil ADS. It's a laser, best gun in the game, S tier. R301, my sweet baby summer child, S tier. The R301 is the most reliable gun in the game. This is the gun that you marry. This gun will call you after it takes you on a date. This gun will meet your parents. This gun will take you to a nice restaurant, pay for your meal and your drinks, and then drive you home and not expect anything else. I will pick this up every single match if I could. S tier. R99. People are gonna be mad at me for this. I don't really care. A tier. It's just too inconsistent. Just that little bit too inconsistent for me. It has a relatively easy to read recoil, but the thing is, if you don't have a magazine on it, you miss 2 shots. Guy survives. And this thing sprays bullets, so missing shots is relatively easy. In good hands, it's S tier, but in good hands, everything on this list is S tier. That's how that works. I like the R99. I will always use the R99. I've been playing with it more and more because it's fun, but because of its inconsistencies, A tier. The brand new Rampage Lmg. Rampage! I'm gonna keep using that joke as often as I can. The Rampage is a tough one because if you just look at the damage numbers, you would think it was overpowered, but its time to kill is what you really need to look at. This thing fires so slowly that if you hit all body shots in a close range engagement off drop, it will be out DPS'd by literally every other automatic weapon and the Prowler in the game. I ran the numbers on this in the training range. When it's charged, all body shots has almost the same time to kill as the flatline. This thing is great at mid-range. This thing is a straight up buff to fuse. If you're a fuse main, there's nothing else you should be using. You should pick up 2 Rampages, stock up on thermite, and just rip through people. Because at mid-range, this thing thrives. At fuse range, this thing thrives. Close range, pretty much anything else is more viable and more reliable, because the other thing is you have to hit every single one of those 28 damage shots. If you miss one, someone with slightly better aim and a 301 is gonna kill you. It's just how it works. I don't think it deserves all the ire that it's been getting, and as a result, A tier. It's good, but it ain't broken. RE45, B tier. I don't have a lot to say about this. Has a similar TTK to the R99, and yet somehow it feels worse to carry. I don't know why, might just be a me thing. It's good, there are other things I'd rather have. Sentinel, S tier. Pick it up, equip it, charge it up, headshot people, profit. End of story. Spitfire, in the care package, broken. I passed this up the other day, it was the worst decision I've ever made in my life. You find one of these in the care package, you pick it up, okay? Look at me, look at me. You pick that up. You pick that up and you use it. People have been crying for years that the Spitfire's broken. You know what they did? They put it in the care package, made it real busted. So you see that, don't look at it and go, oh, it's not a Kraber, I don't want it. Look at me. Pick it up, S tier. Triple take. This is another one people are not gonna like, A tier. It's good, it's really good. It's probably the best shotgun in the game, honestly. But for my taste, I would rather have the Sentinel. I'd much rather have the Kraber. Our Kraber full of grace, the frags are with thee. For my money, it's a decent sniper rifle. I think at the ranges that it thrives, there are so many things that do its job better that even in the care package variant, it's just not, it's not care package scary. Everything else in the care package right now is terrifying. This thing is almost a slap in the face if you find it over any of the other 3. A tier. Volt. S tier. Basically no recoil. Thing hits like a train at close range. Decent hip fire. Reliable. And I used to say the opposite because I couldn't use it for whatever reason. Then I spent time to get to know it and, you know, took it on a couple of dates and here we are. Now we really enjoy it. I've had some fun. I've had some fun. I've had some frags. The evidence is there. The numbers are there. It's one of the most punishing weapons. If you miss your shots, just don't miss your shots. S tier. Wingman, I'm garbage with it. S tier. Strong. It's undeniably one of the best weapons in the game. It's also got the highest skill ceiling and probably the highest skill floor, if we're being honest. I swear to God, the projectile on this thing is the size of a pencil tip, but that pencil tip will rip your arm off if you hit it. I've seen people do crazy stuff with this weapon. It's great. They keep giving this thing buffs for no reason. With the new hop up, it's insane. S tier. The 30-30 repeater. You know, this is another tough one for me because I spent some time trying to get this thing to work because I land on this thing off drop so often that I was like, I need to make it work. I need to. And you know what? Sometimes I can, but most of the time I can't. It's inconsistent. It's more inconsistent than the G7 and less helpful. Even with its soft buff with the new stocks, still not quite there for me. And for that reason, the final gun on this list is C tier. As I said, these are all my opinion based on what I've experienced playing these weapons a lot. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments. Let me know. I'll probably respond, but keep it classy. But that's pretty much it for right now. And so that's it. That is the official Season 10 tier list. I will not be taking questions at this time. If you like this video, make sure to let me know down below. Leave it a like, comment, tell someone about it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to interact with me personally, I'm live right here on YouTube, usually streaming Apex Legends every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Come say hi. I like to think I'm pretty funny. Until then, however, thank you guys so very, very much for watching. And until next time, cheers.